So when I first got into knives, I watched all these knife reviewers, and they talk about Hinderers, CRKs, CKFs, the Medfords, the Striders, all of these almost out of reach brands, because not only are they limited and hard to find, when you find them, you gotta cough up tons of money to get your hands on them. Naturally, I'm gonna assume that you gravitate towards one of the brands. If you haven't felt one of them, you just dream of a Chris Reeve, or you dream of a Hinderer, you dream of a Medford, you dream of Strider. Well, today I'm gonna go over 4 Hinderer knives, and I'm gonna try to help you learn through my mistakes on what I think is the best first Hinderer to own. And all you other Hinderer guys out there, feel free to comment below. Everybody who hasn't bought one, they're not gonna know. So if you have some, give your feedback. So we're gonna start from left to right and talk about why I think each one might be a good first Hinderer and why it might not be a good first Hinderer. Let's start with the 3-inch XM-18. The XM-18 3-inch, why this might be a good first choice is that it's generically the size of a bug out. These are about the same size knife, so if you like that smaller style EDC carry, this is your guy. I can tell you this fits in my 5th pocket. Not necessarily the best, but it does fit. One reason why this might not be your first choice, or might not be a great first choice, is when you think of Hinderer, you think of an overbuilt knife. You think of something massive, bulky in your hand, and just ready to take on the world. The 3-inch, while it probably can, doesn't give you that feeling. The Hinderer Jurassic. Now this was one that I sought after for 2 freaking years. Couldn't wait to get my hands on it. And why this might make a good first Hinderer is that it does retain that overbuilt, bulky feel in hand. You feel like you can take on the world, and yet it's not quite as large as an XM-18 3.5 inch. So maybe it's a little bit more your size, despite being slightly shorter. One reason why I think this might not be a great first Hinderer is I think the ergonomics on this are kind of weird. While I feel like I can take on the world with its build quality and construction, I don't know that I would want to do it in hand all day, every day. But then again, my hands don't gravitate towards this rounded style handle as much. Next on the list is the Hinderer Eclipse. Why I think this might be a good first Hinderer to get your hands on? First of all, the ergonomics are probably the most neutral of any Hinderer. In my opinion, also the easiest to access the thumb studs or the external stops with for fidgeting. Why this might not be a good first Hinderer to have? I really don't have a reason why. I think overall, this might be one of the best Hinderer models in existence. The XM-18 3.5 inch skinny. Now, I'm not going to talk about the regular XM-18. You can definitely find it more, but compare the regular XM-18 to a mixture of the Jurassic and the Eclipse. It's kind of right in the middle there, while retaining that overbuilt feel. The skinny, on the other hand, the skinny feels really good in hand. I actually prefer a little bit skinnier of a knife. I thought I liked the contour, but after a long time of using knives and trying to figure out what I like, I prefer this really skinny, narrow profile. To put that in a comparison, you can see here how much thicker this Eclipse is to this XM-18 skinny. Now, part of me wants to say that the skinny portion of this would make this a fantastic choice for a first Hinderer, but that kind of defeats the purpose of why somebody thinks of Hinderer in the first place. I have come to appreciate this design, and as you guys know, it's probably the favorite knife in my collection. It does represent Hinderer, but not like the Jurassic and Eclipse do in the regular size with that overbuilt feel. That skinny, less overbuilt feel, if you're looking to get into a Hinderer for that, that might not make this the best one to own first. I'm going to eliminate the Jurassic first, because the ergonomics of the Jurassic are so specific and they're not as neutral, it's not going to be suitable for everyone. So if you went out there and spent $450 and got the Jurassic in hand and didn't like it, and you were somebody that's not used to spending that, that's going to suck. Next, we're going to get rid of the 3-inch. The 3-inch is something that I think is almost essential. It fits the perfect size range for an actual EDC, that's somebody who's not cutting down massive amounts of cardboard each day, but they make simple cuts. This is where this lies. But it doesn't give you that Hinderer feel in hand for your first Hinderer. Make this your second. Or third. Or fourth or fifth. And then there were 2. This is kind of where I struggle. Obviously, the favorite Hinderer in my collection is my skinny sheep's foot, but it doesn't retain that overbuilt feel in hand. I think this is probably the most practical out of the larger Hinderer knives, but it doesn't give you the clicks and the clacks and the thick, robust feel, even though it does feel robust, that the other Jurassic and say XM-18 regular or the Eclipse give you. So I'm gonna actually take this one off, and it pains me to do so. But don't worry, I still love her. That leaves the Eclipse as probably the best first Hinderer to get into. The flipper tab is a lot less obtrusive. It's not like your typical Hinderer flipper tabs, such as the Jurassic. I don't have an XM-18 flipper tab to show you because I deleted all of them. The flipper tab needs to go, right? The ergonomics on this are very neutral, and that's a good thing. So while this actually may not be the best slicing Hinderer as far as ergonomics go, it's more of a puncture task Hinderer, which is why the Tonto makes a lot of sense on this. But overall, I think this feels really robust. The action is amazing. It's stupid easy to access this lock bar. You can flick it with the frickin' external stop super easy. Yeah, I think the Eclipse is probably the best first Hinderer to get into. I think the skinny XM-18 is probably the best Hinderer. I think the 3-inch XM-18 is probably the most practical for everyday use. And I think the Jurassic is built for those people that, if you love the ergonomics of, say, the Kaiser Roach, right, and how it kind of cups around your hand, then you're really gonna like the Jurassic, because that's exactly what the Jurassic does. And if you disagree with any of my assessments, put it down below. And since you watched this video, you're more than likely interested in Hinderers. I also have 2 reviews, one of the Hinderer Skinny and one of the Hinderer Jurassic, that I will post up here for you guys to check out. Very easy, just go ahead and click it.